Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a 212A, the Tier 9 Soviet SPG. It's located on the north spawn of Malinovka, and it's under the command of Andromeda. And this is another entry for the Arty Day Competition. It was a very good entry. Unfortunately, it didn't win the prize. So let's see how we get on. Game started. Now, Andromeda's using the 203mm B4 howitzer, 1050 Alpha. And seeing as he's an Arty and got very poor view range, he needs to get into cover to protect himself from any enemy scouts. Okay, what he's going to do is actually just sit in the water. He's having a bath. Well, it's one way of doing it. It is, but unfortunately I actually did that the other day in a game and I absolutely got hammered because an enemy scout found me. But an enemy tank has been spotted straight away and he's gone into the dip. It's a T-54 lightweight, and tanks are very, very difficult to hit in that dip because, as you can see, it's a red line extending from the ridge line at the top of the dip. Yep, unfortunately it's not possible to angle a shell in unless you've got a very high trajectory, and there are a few Artys in the game that have that, but sadly the 212A does not. And certainly not from the position we're in, because we're in a dip, you see, and when we're in a dip and the enemy's in a dip, we just haven't got the elevation on the gun to be able to shoot in there. It's just not possible. He keeps coming up and having a quick look and pops back down again. Now that's going to prove very, very difficult for us if we don't do something, and despite the fact that a member of our team is trying to ping the map like mad saying, you attack it, you attack it. No, we can't. We haven't got the angle. We just simply cannot do it. You can only hit it if it comes up high enough. Well, he fires around in there and you see, just overshot that one. I thought that would hit the ridgeline prematurely, but that one went long and flew right over the top of him and hit the cliff on the other side. So he's just wasted a shot there, I'm afraid. But he does have plenty of rounds to spare because the 212A does carry plenty. 212A is based on the KV220 hull, which, as you know, is a tier 7 hull, but it's got a big box casement, which means that it can carry a lot of shells and a big gun, and it can use vents, and that means that you can improve the crew tremendously, especially if you use premium consumables. On this occasion we're not using premium consumables, but more than likely, I'm pretty sure Andromeda will be using vents. Now that one, oh, it's going to go over the cliff edge. Here he goes, way into the water. Now he's a target, and we're loaded. Rounds out straight away, and we hit him. We definitely got a hit on him just about there. No doubt about it. There was no explosion, and it's deep water at that point, so if he had fallen off the ledge, it would be very difficult for him to get back up again. Right up on the north near the windmill, we've got a Lerva and an IS-3. Now this is a tier 9 game, so we're top tier, and that means that Andromeda's going to have to work all the harder to get more damage. Oh, lovely shot right into the rear of that Lerva. 424 hit points from that one. He's going to have to work harder if he wants the XP because he is top tier, but there is plenty of potential because he's got plenty of shells and there's a lot of enemy tanks for him to shoot at. It's on the is it 7 and 8? It's 7 and 8 actually, isn't it? It's 7 tier 9s and 8 tier 8s. So if he can hit all the tier 9s that he can, well, he's aiming at tier 8s there on top of the hill. But here comes the tier 9s. Type 4 heavy and an AMX 50 120. But just look at this bunch of enemy tanks, and of course this is where the splash radius of the 203mm shell comes into its own. 10.9 meters is the splash radius. Now pi r squared will tell you the entire footprint for that shell is big, very big. Well, sadly they all moved outside the footprint before that shell landed. But if those enemy tanks bunch together, it means that Andromeda's going to earn a lot of XP. Going for the Tiger II. Rounds out on Tiger II, should kill. Yes, it does! Okay, up on top of the hill. We've got that Lurvers moving quickly. I think he's trying to outflank our guys. But he is a one-shot. So Andromeda can get the kill. Unfortunately, we just lost our 53 TP. He's almost loaded. I think the Lurvers trying to get behind our Malshin, but the Malshin's dead. We've almost been kicked off the hill, so to speak. Go for the Lurver. Oh, it overshot! That could have been a kill shot, but it overshot. RNG said no, and all it did was stun the Lurver. We're 3 tanks down on the enemy at the moment, but their horde of enemy tanks is coming down the hill, and I'm afraid that Andromeda's looking at the wrong area. Yes, that's what you need to be focused on. The enemy tanks are moving down the hill, and the 5120 is unloading his magazine. We fire a round in and get a splash kill. So he's gone. That was a tier 9 out. That's a tier 8 IS-3. Still going to be a while before we're loaded. The enemy is moving out of the dip as well. That ramp, there's an AMX AC-48 there, and looks like he's about to engage our SU-130PM. And yep, Andromeda's seen it. That's potentially more dangerous because he could push that SU-130PM off, and we put a round into the AC-48. We lose our SU-130PM, but they lose their tank destroyer as well. But the sad news is that our guys are now dead in that area, and we've got a whole bunch of our tanks sitting around our cap, protecting that when they should be up the hill. We've got a T-34, a Borsig, and another heavy tank, which I think is the I think it's a T-34. Is it T-34? IS-3, and he's killed. Oh, so our shell went out, but he's dead already. Kill went to the M53. Actually, it's a KV-4, a Borsig, and a T-34. They're guarding the cap, but the enemy does have a Chimera trying to make its way up to our cap area. I'm not sure they can see it now. Now in the north, that VK is threatening our T-49. Our aim comes around, and that's a kill shot. So that's 3 kills so far for Andromeda. He's doing well. 1045 recorded, but I'm pretty sure he's actually done a lot more. Waiting to see that Chimera. In the meantime, we've got this Type 4 Heavy. We're not going to be loaded in time before he gets behind the ruined church. And the M53 finishes him off. There's the Chimera. This vehicle turns around. Okay, now we're dialing in. It's a difficult shot because again, he's very close to us, and again he's in a dip. So instead we're switching targets, going back up to the north because we've got a Lurver and a Scorpion G. Oh, T49's gone down, so we've lost our spotter. Goes for the Scorpion G, and oh, he gets a hit, direct hit for 429. Now might be the time to move. Now somebody is furiously pinging the map on those tanks that are just camping. It's the T49 who's pinging. I think he's very upset that those guys just haven't been taking part in the battle whatsoever. It could very well be that they are noobs and they just don't know what to do with their tanks. But I doubt it, because the Borsig and the KV-4, you have to actually earn them. Yes, you can enter into battles and sit at the back and pick up enough XP to qualify to own one, but you've got to be a pretty poor player to do that. And now, actually, the problem is that Andromeda's in danger, because there's a Lerva and a Scorpion G still up the hill, which the T49 and the M53 I think are trying to indicate, and there's nobody between us and them, so we need to get out of the dip if we can and move south. But I think if we did try, we'd probably get spotted by the enemy and killed. That AMX 1390 could do a lot of help if he was only to spot for us, find out where the enemy is. But look at these terrible tanks sitting back, camping near the cap area. They're doing absolutely no good whatsoever there. Even the Borsig as well, he's moved. He is actually going to the enemy cap. But it would be better if he was actually getting damage on the enemy rather than going to the cap. This is not what we like to see as Arty. Players who just don't know what they're trying to do. The Borsig is not even capping now. He's just sitting near the enemy cap, camping. He's moved his camping position further south because that's safer. I mean, how ridiculous is that? I think we really ought to name and shame these people, because the Borsig GA9412, you don't know how to play your tank. He does have 3 kills, but I think those are only the kills that the enemy actually, who tried to come across the field. The T-34, well, he's got only 1 kill. And now he's moving further south, further away from the enemy. And the KV-4, well, he's got no kills at all. This is the worst possible result for us. The Lerva, well, he's found us, and the enemy Arty found us, and we've been hit. Badly damaged by the enemy Arty, and I think we know where the enemy Arty is as well. He's up the hill. And the M53 is making his escape. At least the Lerva was killed. And we've got our gunner back in action, but the enemy Arty knows where we are now. There's a good chance he's going to fire in the same spot again. There's only 4 enemy vehicles left. 2 Arty, a tank destroyer, and a light tank. And the light tank's that T-54 lightweight who's been sitting in the dip virtually all game. Okay, we've been asked to platoon. And we platoon with the M53, M55. Their Arty, the enemy's Arty, has actually been very active. The 212A has got 2 kills, the M53's got 1. So at least they were playing the game properly, and here they come. And we shotgun the 212A after he kills our M53. Unfortunately, but here comes their M53. He's desperate to get something. They killed the T-54 lightweight. We're reloading, trying to get a shot on this M53, M55. If we can get him, we get a counter battery. 10 seconds to go. And the AMX 1390 takes that away from us. And that's the end of the game. Unbelievable. So let's have a look at the end of battle stats. Well, it was a second class tanker for Andromeda in the 212A, but it probably wasn't a battle he very much enjoyed on the basis that he was being asked to do most of the work. He got a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills, he got 4 exactly, and a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 13 out of that one, and his win rate for the game was 3.255, and that indicates how much effort he had to put in to get this win. Yeah, he was doing most of it, Super Unicum standard. So let's have a look at the team score. Well, he's up there at the top. He's not the top on damage overall. That actually goes to the M53, M55 on the enemy team. He managed to get a Gauze medal and a Confederate and 3,743 hit points of damage. The Chimera on the enemy team just managed to get the second highest, 3,077, and our M53, M55 got 3,060. And we can see Andromeda managed to get 2,760 experience points out of that one, but the shame really should go on this KV4. Look at that. 0 hit points of damage, no kills, just sat at the cap and camped for virtually the entire battle. What a waste of a player. That guy should be ashamed of himself, and really he should really consider whether or not he stays in the game, because if you're not actually going to play the game at all, what's the point of being there? You're just a target for somebody else to shoot at. Oh dear, what can I say? Well, anyway, if we look at detail, we can see that Andromeda fired 15 shells, got 6 direct hits, no penetration, 11 splash. Damage of 2,760 hit points, of which 2,300 were at more than 300 meters. Obviously, the close one was that 212A who came down the hill to try and kill our guys. And he received 1 hit as a result of splash damage. That was from the enemy M53, M55, who worked out where he was after he was spotted, shot at him. And he did damage 10 of the enemy, killed 4 of them, and did stun assistance of 669 off 7 stuns. On that game, he actually made a loss. 2,098 credits lost, I'm afraid. And the reason for that really was the ammunition. He did use a fair amount of premium ammo during that game, and so it cost him. Plus, of course, he didn't get as much damage as he would have liked, I suppose, because he wasn't getting as much spotting as he would like towards the end of the game. He picked up 1,369 XP, and his base XP was 913, but sadly that wasn't enough to win at tier 9. There was a higher one, and so this is another entry for the runner-up competition. Yeah, what a battle. That was a really, really difficult one there for Andromeda. So thanks for sending in this replay, and thanks for watching.